I'm Diane.
I'm Steve from
Mom.
Pop, Pow! In the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, it used to be fun and sometimes even glamorous to fly on an airline. I mean, you were treated like royalty. The stewardesses would pamper you, offering you treats, pillows, blankets, and then came 9/11, and everything has changed since then.
There are a lot more security rules in place, and I understand that. But people are still people. When we went to Chicago last week, we left from a tiny airport in Manchester, New Hampshire, where everybody was kind, pleasant, professional, and very helpful. And it was almost a pleasure to go through the long lines and get to where we needed to go.
On the way home from Chicago, we had to go to the O'Hare Airport to pick up a plane to come back here to Manchester. And this is where it got, to me, ugly.
We got there 2 hours and 15 minutes before our flight, which should have given us enough time to get through the lines. But as it was, we had to stand in 3 very long lines. And when you get out of line, or you don't get in line fast enough, or you move the line a little bit, people get ugly.
We were standing behind a couple from London, and the lady was totally distraught and wanted to talk to anybody who could possibly help her. And she tried to approach one of the airline agents, who immediately said, just stay in line and they'll take care of it. And the poor lady said, but we're going to miss our flight. And the lady says, I'll call security if you say one more thing.
This type of treatment of passengers gets them all riled up too. And after standing in line and knowing that you can't move, you can't ask questions, you can't do anything but be herded through this line, it gets everybody on edge. There was a young lady who was directed to come to the desk that we were waiting to get to. And it's kind of hard at the beginning to understand that you have to stand in line, because they just say, go to the desk. They don't say, go to the long line and wait to get to the desk. So she approached the desk, and then a bunch of people in line rushed up and said to the lady at the counter, you can't serve her. She didn't go to the end of the line. And everyone was totally hostile. It was scary.
The crux is we finally got through those 3 lines, only to end up into a security line that was almost 3 times as long as the lines we had already been in. And to make matters worse, we were far away from our gate for the plane, which was going to depart in less than 10 minutes.
We knew we had a long way to go in a short amount of time. And you know those airline carts that they have drivers for? We came upon one of those, and there were 3 guys lounging on it, and we asked, could you take us to the gate? No, they made jokes, and they didn't have a license, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'd gladly pay you to take us. No, we're not driving today. And it's like there were more united people laying around doing nothing, or else harassing customers, than there were people who cared.
All in all, it was just a very disappointing experience, and it really took the fun out of what should have been at least a mildly pleasant trip back home. So after leaving the security gate, we rushed to the gate that we needed to go to for our plane, and lo and behold, looking out the window, there's no plane there. And I'm kind of panicking, although I do see Manchester, New Hampshire, 3:30, so I'm thinking, maybe we can catch the next one. We went to the desk to see if we could get rescheduled, but lo and behold, the 3:30 flight was actually our plane, which had been delayed.
Of all the unhelpful, uncaring, unkind, and almost inhuman people that we met at Chicago's United Airlines facility, there were 2 bright and shining stars. The first one was Juliana Giamato. And in case I don't say that right, it's Jummato. She was the nice lady at the ticket counter who has helped us get our boarding passes and get on our way. The second person of note is Karen Katims, Katims. She was the lady who checked the flight and let us know that it was only delayed and we would be able to go on that last trip to Manchester, New Hampshire. This morning on the news, I saw that 2.06 million people will be traveling this summer. And all I could think of was, that's 2.06 million people to be mistreated. It's time that we were a little bit kinder to our fellow citizens, our fellow human beings, and have a little bit of understanding, and life would be much better.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Diane from
Mom, Pop, Pow!